She thought she could humiliate a teenager just because of the color of her skin and the hoodie she was wearing. Flight attendant Tiffany Miller sneered, pointing to the back of the plane, convinced that 19-year-old Jasmine didn't belong in first class. She threatened her, mocked her, and even tried to drag her out of her seat for a VIP passenger. But Tiffany didn't know who Jasmine was dialing on her phone. She didn't know that the man picking up the call had the power to ground the entire fleet. Moments later, a private jet screamed down the runway, blocking the commercial airliner's path. The pilot's voice trembled over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are being intercepted." What happens next will leave you speechless. This is the story of how arrogance met its match. The automatic sliding doors of JFK Terminal 4 parted, letting in a gust of humid July air, but Jasmine Sterling didn't feel the heat. She was already mentally in London preparing for her sophomore year at Oxford University. At 19, Jasmine had the kind of natural, understated beauty that turned heads, but today she was intentionally flying under the radar. She wore an oversized vintage gray hoodie, black leggings, and worn-out Converse sneakers. Her hair was pulled back in a messy bun, and large noise-canceling headphones rested around her neck. She didn't look like the heiress to the Sterling Vance global fortune. She looked like a tired college student. And that was exactly how she liked it. Clutched in her hand was a boarding pass for Flight 882 to London Heathrow, first class seat 1A. It wasn't a luxury she flaunted. It was a security measure insisted upon by her father, Langston Sterling. "Keep your head down, Jas," her father had texted her earlier. "Security team will meet you at Heathrow. Love you." Jasmine approached the gate. The line for economy was already snake-like, winding back toward the duty-free shops. The priority lane, however, was empty, save for a red velvet rope and a pristine podium. Jasmine stepped into the priority lane. Immediately, a gate agent looked up, her eyes narrowing behind thick-rimmed glasses. She didn't smile. She didn't greet Jasmine. She simply pointed a manicured finger toward the other line. "Miss Economy boarding is in Zone 4. You need to wait your turn with everyone else." Jasmine paused, suppressing a sigh. It happened often enough that she had a script for this. "I'm in first class," she said softly, holding out her phone with the digital boarding pass. The agent, whose name tag read Patricia, didn't even look at the screen. She looked at Jasmine's hoodie. She looked at her sneakers. Then she let out a short, derisive scoff. "This is the priority lane. It's for first class and Diamond Medallion members only. Please step aside so you don't block the actual customers." "I am a customer," Jasmine said, her voice firming up just a fraction. She stepped forward and placed her phone directly over the scanner. Beep, beep. Green light. The machine chirped a happy confirmation. "Sterling J. Seat 1A. Patricia blinked. She looked at the screen, then back at Jasmine, her face flushing a mixture of embarrassment and irritation. She didn't apologize. She snatched the passport Jasmine offered, flipped through it aggressively, and then shoved it back. "Go ahead," she muttered, refusing to make eye contact. Jasmine walked down the jet bridge, shaking her head. "Just get to the seat, put the headphones on, and sleep," she told herself. She stepped onto the plane. The first-class cabin was cool and smelled of expensive leather and sanitizing wipes. A flight attendant was standing at the galley arranging welcome drinks. She was tall, blonde, and wearing a uniform that was a size too tight with a name tag that glistened under the LED lights. Tiffany Miller. Tiffany was smiling radiantly at an older businessman who was hanging his coat. "Let me take that for you, Mr. Henderson. Champagne before takeoff." "Please, Tiffany," the man chuckled. Jasmine stepped past Mr. Henderson. "Excuse me," she murmured. Tiffany's smile vanished the second her eyes landed on Jasmine. It was like a switch had been flipped. The warmth evaporated, replaced by a cold, robotic stare. She stepped into the aisle, physically blocking Jasmine's path to seat 1A. "Hold on," Tiffany said, her voice sharp enough to cut glass. "You're lost, sweetie. Economy is straight through that curtain. Keep walking until you hit row 30. Jasmine took a deep breath. "I'm in seat 1A. Tiffany laughed. It wasn't a nice laugh. It was a sound meant to belittle. She looked around the cabin, seeking an audience. Mr. Henderson was watching, looking amused. 1A, Tiffany repeated loudly. "Honey, 1A is reserved for full-fare, first-class passengers. It's usually taken by CEOs or diplomats. I think you scraped together enough miles for an upgrade, or maybe you're confused. Let me see your ticket." Jasmine held up her phone again. Tiffany snatched the phone from Jasmine's hand, a violation of protocol so flagrant Jasmine almost gasped. Tiffany squinted at the screen, scrolling up and down, looking desperately for a flaw. "Jasmine Sterling." Tiffany read, her lip curling. "Well, computers glitch all the time. There is no way you paid for this seat. Look at you." She gestured vaguely at Jasmine's hoodie. "We have a dress code in first class. Smart casual. You look like you're going to a gym." "There is no dress code for paying passengers," Jasmine stated, her patience thinning. "I paid for the seat. I'm sitting in it. Give me my phone." Tiffany held the phone out of reach for a second longer, a power play, before practically dropping it into Jasmine's hand. "Fine. Sit. But don't get comfortable. If the actual owner of that seat shows up, you're moving back to row 45, near the toilets." Jasmine brushed past her and sank into the wide leather seat of 1A. She could feel Tiffany's eyes boring into the back of her head. She didn't ask for a drink. She didn't ask for a pillow. She just wanted to disappear. But the universe and Tiffany Miller had other plans. 10 minutes later, boarding was nearly complete. The first-class cabin was full except for the seat next to Jasmine. Then a commotion arose at the door. A woman swept in. She was draped in a faux fur coat, despite the summer heat, dripping in gold jewelry, and carrying a Louis Vuitton handbag that probably cost more than a mid-sized sedan. She looked frantic and enraged. This was Eleanor Vance, a socialite known in the tabloids for two things: her 3 divorces and her terrible temper. "This is unacceptable," Eleanor shrieked, waving a platinum card at Tiffany. "I was told I would have the bulkhead. I need leg room. My sciatica is flaring up." Tiffany's face transformed instantly into a mask of subservience. "Mrs. Vance." "Oh, I am so sorry. There must have been a mix-up at the gate. Please calm down." "I will not calm down." Eleanor pointed a ring-studded finger at seat 1B next to Jasmine. "I hate aisle seats. I want the window. I want that seat." She pointed directly at Jasmine. Jasmine froze. She looked out the window, watching the ground crew load luggage, praying this wasn't happening. Tiffany looked at Eleanor, then at Jasmine. A wicked idea seemed to dawn on the flight attendant. She saw an opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, please a VIP, and get rid of the hoodie girl she despised. Tiffany walked over to 1A and tapped Jasmine hard on the shoulder. "Excuse me," Tiffany said, her voice dripping with fake politeness. "We have a situation. Mrs. Vance is a diamond-level frequent flyer and a personal friend of the airline's CEO. She needs the window seat for medical reasons." Jasmine turned slowly. "I'm sorry to hear that, but I booked this seat 3 months ago." "It doesn't matter when you booked it," Tiffany snapped, dropping the facade.